What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This will be the first video under the rebrand of Gavin's Garage. Today we've got my car actually in for some service. I'm going to be working on my 2022 Kia Forte GT line. This car hasn't been introduced to the channel yet, but maybe might make a video on it. It's a pretty nice little daily, gets great fuel mileage, but unfortunately that does mean the Tahoe that y'all have all seen is gone. I sold that truck quite a while ago, and now we're rocking the Kia. So today we're going to be getting into some brakes, new pads and rotors to be exact. The Kia has developed a pretty nice wobble under like high-speed braking, and it shakes coming to a stop. So those usually point me in the signs of, hey, my front rotors are warped. It's not covered under dealer warranty, so here we are being the dealer warranty. I'm going to give you guys a bit of an in-depth video on kind of how to do this job. I don't see many people posting about this car. I see older Forte videos, but I don't see any of the newer Forte videos, so hopefully this will be what you guys need if that's what you're looking for. So for this job, you're going to need a 21mm socket and an impact or a breaker bar if you don't have an impact available, a Phillips screwdriver, an extension, a ratchet, a 14, and I believe a 17. Yeah, 17. So this will be for getting your wheels off, this will be for getting the brake rotor off, and this will be for getting the caliper bracket, all that stuff. And actually, I lied. You need one more thing. If you don't have it, you can go rent it from a parts store. But this is a caliper compression tool, and you actually use this to compress the caliper, the piston in the caliper, whenever you're putting your wheel back on. If you don't have one of these things, it's a game changer, and I totally recommend picking one up. They can be super cheap, or they can be super expensive, depending on the quality you're looking for or the brand you're looking for. I know a lot of people do brand names, so maybe if you don't want to go down to Harbor Freight, maybe your tool truck's got one, or maybe your local O'Reilly's or AutoZone has just the thing you're looking for. But without further ado, we're going to get into taking these wheels off. It's a 5-bolt pattern, and it's going to be that 21mm socket over there. So without further ado, we're going to get into it. Now that the wheel's off, I actually forgot to mention the real first thing you should do when you're working on your vehicle. Jack it up. Make sure your jack's on a pinch weld, and you put a jack stand underneath it, just in case the jack fails. You want that to catch you, and you don't want to have your legs sitting out here, and all of a sudden, oh no, here comes my car, and you lose a leg, and you cry. That's not very fun. So the first thing you're going to want to do after you get your wheel off is we have to get the caliper off of the caliper bracket, so we can then remove your old brake calipers to pull off the caliper bracket here. You can do it in one assembly, but we're replacing the calipers anyways, or we're replacing the pads anyway, so it's good to just go ahead and pull them off while you got it on there. And as you pull your old stuff off, I highly recommend it. You compare it to your new parts and make sure you actually got the right thing. You know, change-ups happen all the time at the auto parts store. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these two 14mm bolts that are right here on the caliper. And that's going to come off right there. So there's one here up at the top. And if you come right below it, sorry about that, my camera cut out. If you come right below the caliper right here, I know the lighting's pretty bad. There's a bolt right here. They're right below each other. Super easy to see, and these are just going to come off. Take those two 14mm bolts loose. Your caliper will then be freed up, and you can wiggle it, shimmy it, shake it off of your brake pads. So there's your caliper. That's the caliper piston in there. That's going to be what you're going to want that compression tool for, because as you see, this is pushed out a little bit, and it makes sliding over brand new pads kind of difficult if you don't compress it. So what you want to do is you don't want to leave this dangling. You've got this brake hose here, and you don't want to drop it like I just did mine. If you have this brake hose here, usually what I tend to do is I just kind of tend to come over and find a spot over here by the strut tower where you can just rest it out of the way. It's not going to fall, and you can just kind of leave it there while you're doing the rest of the job. Now here you actually get a pretty decent look at your caliper, or at your, I don't know why I keep calling the brake pads the calipers, at your brake caliper, or Jesus Christmas, your brake pads. So here's the brake pads right here. And then you've got these two little, like, I don't know what to call them, retainer clips. But you literally can just squeeze them together or just pull them out. They come out pretty easy. Same thing on the bottom. And that guy is ready to come out. He just kind of fell. There you go. You can get those out of the way. And now you can pull your calipers, pull your pads off of the caliper bracket here with this hardware. So yeah, here's the front caliper. Or I don't know how many times I'm just gonna, you know what I mean. The front pad still got some decent life left on it. Actually, this rotor looks way better than my driver's side rotor did. My driver's side rotor was actually pretty pitted, and it had two distinct lines like right here where it had for some reason just not been very happy. And the same thing on the back pad, you know, you just kind of pull it out and it takes a little bit of force, but it should just slide right out. Sometimes it wants to fight, you know, can't control what it wants to do. Let me holler back at you guys. So literally, I don't know why it fought me so hard. I just pulled out from the bottom, pulled it out, and then it slid right out. But as you can see, there's your back caliper, back pad with the caliper piston mark on it. And then you have your little brake squealer, which starts to let you know when your brake pads get a little worn. These also, they have some decent life left in them. But we're going together with some new hardware and pads, so that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so now, after that's all said and done, you're going to take your 18mm socket, or your 17mm socket, and there's these two bolts on the back side of the caliper bracket that are right here. There's one on the bottom, where my finger's at, and there's one on the top right here behind the bleeder, or not the bleeder, but the slide screw pin thing, whatever. And there's the second one that you need to get out. They're 17mm. They can be pretty tricky. If you can get an electric socket wrench in here and buzz them off, then more power to you. I know not everybody kind of has the, you know, power tools and stuff like that, you know. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to manpower it or woman power it or whoever. We're going to get these suckers off of here. And sometimes it does take some effort, but it is possible. Just kind of got to work at it a little bit. But overall, it's not terrible. It's super easy to do. So there's that. Just one more time in case you didn't see them. One below, one up top. Easy stuff. I'll see y'all once I get the now with that caliper bracket off. you can now see the entire rotor is exposed. It's ready for you to pull it off. So now you're going to come over here to your pile of tools that you conveniently keep like 50 million miles away from you. And you're going to take the biggest Phillips screwdriver you can find. It's not really the biggest that I can find, but it's Phillips head number 2 by 125. This has worked the best for me on the Del Sol, and it will now work the best for me on this. If you are not careful, these screws that actually hold your rotor onto your hub assembly, these will strip, and that will suck. Most people have an impact driver that they will use to get these off. I'm going the old-fashioned way by using force and careful precision, if you can call it that. But yeah, so once these two screws come off, the rotor will be free floating kind of on the hub. These really don't hold it to the they don't hold it to the hub per se, but they do stop it from vibrating or moving around on there. And it actually just, they are pretty tight, so I guess in a way they do kind of hold it to the hub. But we're going to get these two screws off, and then we're going to get the rotor off so we can replace it. Now the two screws are out. You can see the rotor is still not really wanting to budge, so I just kind of hit around it. Most people take a hammer to it if it's really stuck, but you should just be able to beat it off. You should just be able to kind of tap it off there. Or if you have a stubborn car, you can try and kick it. Or you can go and get a mallet like how you're supposed to do. It's so funny, the driver's side one was not this difficult. So now I have a nice rubber mallet. We're going to just play whack-a-mole with it. Is it ready yet? No, not really. So you just keep going. Just kind of hammer around the hub here. Try to avoid your studs. You don't want to break one of those. This one's being particularly stubborn, so I will see you. Super annoying. It's now ready to come off. Holy. I have never had a stubborn brake rotor. this bad. That was terrible. Get out of here. Jeez Louise. Anyways, now here you go. You can see your axle nut. You can see your entire hub here. Actually, it's probably not a... I don't know if these are just a press-in, press-out bearing, or if it's an actual hub assembly here on the front. I don't know. I don't care. That's not what I'm here for. Here to get these brakes done. So now, with that being said, we're going to go put the new rotors on, and we're going to tighten the screws up, and then we will, you know, we're going to be done with that. Together process is so much easier than pulling it all apart sometimes. When you slide your rotor onto your wheel studs, there's going to be these two holes right here that your screws go into. You can only put it on one way. It is almost impossible to mess up. I don't know how you would mess that up. But then again, I don't know. Not always the best. The only reason I'm finger starting these screws is just because it is impossible to hold a screwdriver that is incredibly long and record at the same time. But I will say, when you tighten these up, when you tighten these little guys up, please be nice to the next guy. Don't torque these down. Don't strip them. Just get them tight to where they don't turn anymore. Just get them tight to where they don't turn anymore and stop. There is no need to crank these down. Nothing detrimental will happen to you or your vehicle if you don't. I leave them loose, like not loose, but I leave them just hand tight on every vehicle that I have, and it has not hurt me yet, knock on wood. So they're snug. As you can see, the rotor's not going anywhere. It's good. So now all we have to do is slide our brake caliper bracket back onto the rotor and bolt it back up. It is literally a reverse process of what you did to take it off. It is super dope, super simple, and then you can slap your new pads in. So I will see you guys once all that's done. Once you've got your caliper bracket back on, along with your brake pads inside of the new hardware, we are going to now compress the brake caliper piston so we can slide it back on over your new goodies. So basically I'm going to try and do this one-handed as usual, which kind of sucks. But you have this tool right here. This part is going to go into the caliper piston, and this part is going to push against the inside of the actual caliper itself. And when you squeeze this trigger, that is going to compress your brake caliper piston. So now I'm going to get this into position, and I'm going to show you how. Tool into position. As you can see, this is pushing against the outside of the caliper, and this is now inside of the caliper piston. Now we are going to squeeze this trigger and watch the magic happen. As you can see, with each press, a squeeze, that caliper piston has gone away. It's done. Now you can just pull this out, and you're ready to take your brake caliper, one-handed of course, and slide it on over your new gear. I have kinked my brake line, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Now that the caliper is kind of slid back into position, you need to line your holes up at the top and your holes up at the bottom and fasten your brake caliper back to your pads and bracket assembly. And then, after that, you're done. Congratulations, you have officially done a brake job. It's super easy. It takes a little bit if you haven't done it many times. I've done brakes over and over and over again, but I've never filmed myself doing brakes, so it's almost like I'm relearning everything because I'm actually telling you guys little things that I wish I'd known when I was first starting out, such as don't over tighten these and use a brake caliper tool, a compressor. Use the piston compressor. It makes everything so much easier and quicker when you're going back together with this because you're not sitting there wondering, how the hell am I going to smash this piston back in there so I can get this over that? It's not that bad. I promise you this is going to save you a whole lot of money. I did this job on my own instead of taking this car to the dealership, even though it's still under warranty and all that good stuff. Brakes are considered in most dealership warranties a wearable item, so they won't replace these for free like they will with your oil or any other component of the car that may fail. So, change your brakes, change your oil. It's going to save you so much money in the long run. where I'm sure they were going to charge me probably like $300 to $400 at the dealership to do this brake job. I got the materials myself, and I paid $156 for the top-notch brake pad or brake rotors that O'Reilly's had, and the top-notch import direct pads that O'Reilly's had. So this all in all cost me about 150. We're just going to round up and say 160 bucks. It's so worth it. And the feeling that you get when you complete a job like this is so rewarding. It's worth it every time. It's worth any amount of money that you're going to pay. So, with that being said, we're going to button this up, and we're going to call this job done. Once everything is said and done, your car should be back on the ground, hopefully in one piece, and none of your fingers should be broken or anything like that. If this video did help you out, please be sure to leave a like and comment if you have any questions, and if you feel so inclined, if you like my voice, if you like anything that I've done, any of the tips that I've shared, I guess tips, if you'd like any help with the step-by-step walkthrough on how to do this brake job, please be sure to leave me a comment down below, and please don't hesitate to ask questions. I know a lot of YouTubers don't really respond as quickly, but I promise I'm going to try my best to respond to any questions that you may have. If I missed something, then please be sure to let me know. And if you have, of course, any tips or tricks on what you would do instead of what I did, please be sure to leave a comment down below and just let me know. But overall, if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. That would help me out a lot. Not really trying to do this as a job, but just trying to do this for fun and help people out and be more in-depth where some people aren't always in-depth. So thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. There will be more content on this car and definitely on the Del Sols. I'm sure both of these are going to need work in the future. So yeah, if you're into that kind of content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'm not the best mechanic out there, but I'm trying my best to become the best. And yeah, so I hope this is, geez, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a great night. Take care.